Few deities in ancient Egyptian mythology evoke as much fascination as Anubis, the god of mummification, death, and the afterlife. With his iconic jackal-headed form, Anubis has captured the imagination of people for thousands of years, symbolizing both the mystery of death and the sacred transition into the afterlife. But who is Anubis, and what can his mythos teach us about life, death, and transformation? Let's delve into the rich history, symbolism, and relevance of this powerful deity. Anubis, known as Inpu in ancient Egyptian, is one of the oldest gods in the Egyptian pantheon. He was worshipped as far back as the pre-dynastic period, before the rise of Osiris, when he was considered the primary god of the dead. His name, derived from the root word Inpw, is thought to relate to the act of decay and purification, underscoring his role as a guide and protector of souls. This linguistic connection highlights the ancient Egyptians' belief in the sacred balance between life and death, and Anubis's role in ensuring that the transition was a safe and respectful one. His role as a protector of graves was crucial in a society that placed immense importance on the afterlife. Tombs were not merely places of rest, but gateways to eternity, and Anubis was tasked with safeguarding them from both physical threats, like grave robbers, and spiritual ones. His vigilance symbolized the eternal watch over the deceased, ensuring their journey to the afterlife was undisturbed. With the rise of the Osiris mythos, Anubis's role evolved significantly. He became a loyal ally to Osiris, assisting him in his duties as ruler of the underworld. Anubis was said to have played a pivotal role in embalming Osiris's body after he was murdered by Set, establishing the process of mummification that became central to Egyptian funerary practices. This act not only elevated Anubis's status within the pantheon, but also made him a symbol of the sacred rituals that preserved the body for its journey into eternity. The color black, while associated with death, also represented rebirth and fertility in ancient Egyptian culture. It symbolized the rich, fertile soil of the Nile, which was essential for sustaining life. This dual symbolism, death and rebirth, perfectly encapsulated Anubis's role in the eternal cycle of existence. The jackal, an animal that frequented burial sites, was both feared and revered. While jackals were known to disturb graves, their keen senses and nocturnal nature made them apt symbols for a deity who navigates the mysteries of the afterlife. Over time, Anubis's mythology expanded and his roles became more nuanced. He was not only a guardian, but also a psychopomp, a guide who led souls through the duat or underworld. Anubis ensured that the deceased were properly prepared for their journey, both physically through mummification and spiritually by guiding their souls. His impartiality and judgment, particularly in the weighing of the heart ceremony, emphasized his role as a deity of balance and fairness. The evolution of Anubis's role reflects the dynamic nature of Egyptian mythology and the adaptability of its deities. As societal and religious priorities shifted, so too did the stories and functions of their gods. Yet despite these changes, Anubis remained a constant presence, embodying the sacred transition between life and death, and earning his place as one of the most enduring figures in Egyptian lore. Anubis's role as a guardian of the dead and a guide to the afterlife was deeply embedded in ancient Egyptian society. His importance is reflected in the wealth of archaeological evidence, such as tomb paintings, amulets, statues, and funerary texts. These artifacts consistently highlight Anubis's integral role in burial practices, rituals, and the spiritual journey of the deceased. He was not only a symbolic figure, but an active presence invoked during the most sacred rites. The priests of Anubis, known as embalmers, played a critical role in mummification ceremonies. Dressed in jackal masks, these priests invoked Anubis's protection and guidance during the delicate process of preserving the body. The mummification process was viewed as a sacred art that ensured the deceased's safe passage into the afterlife. This connection to Anubis underscored the spiritual significance of mummification as a transformative ritual, one that prepared the soul for eternity. Anubis's presence is particularly significant in the weighing of the heart ceremony, where he oversees the scales of Ma'at. This ritual involved weighing the heart of the deceased against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the soul was deemed pure and granted access to the field of reeds, the Egyptian paradise. If not, the soul was devoured by Amit, a fearsome creature. Anubis's role as the impartial overseer of this ceremony highlighted his commitment to justice and cosmic balance. Temples dedicated to Anubis, such as those in Sinopolis, city of the dog, served as centers of veneration and healing. These temples were not merely places of worship, but also hubs of spiritual activity, where pilgrims sought Anubis's favor and protection. Offerings left at these temples included bread, incense, wine, and figurines, all meant to honor the god and secure his blessings. Such offerings symbolized the deep trust placed in Anubis to safeguard both the living and the dead. Amulets bearing Anubis's image were especially popular in ancient Egypt, serving as powerful talismans believed to protect the wearer from harm and ensure a smooth transition into the afterlife. These amulets often featured symbols such as jackals, scales, or the ankh, reinforcing Anubis's associations with protection, justice, and eternal life. The ubiquity of these artifacts in tombs and personal collections speaks to the widespread reverence for Anubis across all levels of Egyptian society. Anubis's influence extended beyond the physical realm into the spiritual and emotional lives of the ancient Egyptians. He was seen as a comforting presence, a protector who stood vigil over the deceased and guided them through the perils of the afterlife. This protective role was particularly significant in a culture that viewed death not as an end, but as a transition into a new phase of existence. Anubis's guardianship provided reassurance that this transition would be safe and just. In modern times, Anubis remains a prominent figure in spiritual and esoteric practices. His symbolism as a guide through transitions resonates with individuals facing personal or professional changes. Many people honor him in their own ways, incorporating his imagery into tattoos, altars, and rituals. Anubis's continued relevance speaks to the timeless nature of his role as a protector and guide, offering wisdom and strength to those navigating life's uncertainties. The enduring legacy of Anubis is a testament to his universal appeal as a symbol of transformation, protection, and justice. Whether in the ancient world or today, his presence continues to inspire and empower those who seek his guidance. Anubis plays a central role in several key myths of ancient Egypt, each of which highlights his multifaceted nature as protector, judge, and guide. One of his most well-known stories involves his relationship with Osiris and Isis. When Osiris was betrayed and murdered by his brother Set, Anubis aided Isis in recovering and embalming Osiris's body. This act of devotion not only established Anubis as the god of mummification, but also emphasized his role as a preserver of order and justice. The embalming of Osiris is a symbolic act that underpins Anubis's function as the divine intermediary between life and death. In another myth, Anubis is described as the son of Nephthys and, in some versions, Osiris. Nephthys, the goddess of mourning, abandoned Anubis in fear of Set's wrath. However, Anubis was discovered and raised by Isis, who became his adoptive mother. This connection to Isis highlights Anubis's alignment with protection and nurturing, qualities that are often overshadowed by his association with death. His loyalty to Isis and Osiris throughout their trials underscores his dedication to preserving harmony in the cosmos. One of the most iconic roles of Anubis is in the weighing of the heart ceremony. This ritual, described in the Book of the Dead, is central to the ancient Egyptian understanding of the afterlife. In this ceremony, Anubis oversees the scales of Ma'at, weighing the heart of the deceased against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice. If the heart is lighter than the feather, the soul is deemed pure and allowed to enter the field of reeds, the Egyptian paradise. If the heart is heavier, it is devoured by Amit, a fearsome creature with the body of a lion, the head of a crocodile, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. Anubis's impartiality in this process reflects his role as an arbiter of justice and moral integrity. Another fascinating myth involves Anubis's conflict with Set. In some versions of the Osiris myth, Set attempts to desecrate Osiris's body after his murder. Anubis intervenes, fiercely defending Osiris's remains and ensuring their preservation. This act of protection cements Anubis's reputation as a guardian of the dead and an upholder of cosmic balance. His confrontation with Set also symbolizes the eternal struggle between order and chaos, a central theme in Egyptian mythology. Anubis is also linked to the Duat, the Egyptian underworld. In this realm, he guides souls through perilous journeys, offering protection and wisdom as they face various trials. His role as a psychopomp, a guide of souls, is vital as he ensures that the deceased reach their final destination safely. This guidance extends beyond physical death, as Anubis is also seen as a spiritual guide for those undergoing significant transitions or transformations in life. These myths highlight Anubis's multifaceted nature. He is not only a protector and guardian, but also a figure of profound wisdom and justice. His presence in these stories serves as a reminder of the sacredness of transitions and the enduring power of truth and integrity. Through his actions, Anubis embodies the principles of loyalty, protection, and the unyielding pursuit of balance in a chaotic world. Anubis's symbolism is rich and deeply connected to his role as a guardian of the dead and guide to the afterlife. His most iconic representation, the jackal, reflects his protective nature and association with cemeteries. Jackals were commonly seen near burial grounds in ancient Egypt, which made them both feared and revered. While these animals were associated with the scavenging of graves, the ancient Egyptians also viewed them as protectors, capable of safeguarding tombs and their sacred contents. This dual perception made the jackal a fitting symbol for Anubis, embodying his role as both guardian and judge. In the weighing of the heart ceremony, the scales represent balance, justice, and the moral integrity required to achieve eternal life. The process of weighing the heart against the feather of Ma'at was not only a literal test of purity, but also a profound metaphor for living a truthful and virtuous life. Anubis's role in overseeing this ceremony highlights his impartiality and commitment to upholding cosmic order. The color black, frequently associated with Anubis, carries dual symbolism. Black represented both death and rebirth in ancient Egyptian culture. It was the color of the fertile soil of the Nile which provided life and sustenance, and the darkness of the underworld which symbolized the mysteries of death. This duality reflects Anubis's nature as a deity of transition, capable of guiding souls through the cycles of death and renewal. Sacred artifacts and spaces dedicated to Anubis often featured jackal statues, incense burners, and amulets. These objects were believed to channel his protective energy, ensuring the safety of both the living and the dead. For example, amulets depicting Anubis were commonly placed on mummies to invoke his protection and guidance in the afterlife. These talismans were also worn by the living, symbolizing their connection to Anubis and his role as a protector during times of personal or spiritual transformation. The ankh, a symbol often associated with Anubis, represents life and immortality. In depictions of Anubis, he is sometimes shown holding the ankh, reinforcing his role as a bridge between the mortal and divine realms. The ankh served as a reminder of the eternal nature of the soul and the promise of life beyond death. Its inclusion in rituals and offerings to Anubis symbolized the interconnectedness of life, death, and the afterlife. Another important animal linked to Anubis is the wolf, which is sometimes associated with his protective qualities. Wolves, like jackals, are seen as keen predators with strong instincts, symbolizing vigilance, loyalty, and guidance. In some interpretations, the wolf embodies Anubis's ability to navigate the unknown and protect those who are vulnerable. Rivers and other liminal spaces were also sacred to Anubis, symbolizing transitions and boundaries. In ancient Egyptian culture, rivers were seen as pathways between realms, and Anubis's presence in such spaces emphasized his role as a psychopomp. His connection to these transitional spaces served as a reminder of his guidance and protection during the most uncertain phases of existence. Modern practitioners who feel drawn to Anubis often report dreams, visions, or synchronicities involving these symbols. For example, recurring images of jackals, wolves, or scales may be interpreted as signs of his presence or messages from him. Rituals dedicated to Anubis frequently incorporate these symbols, along with offerings of incense, wine, or bread, to honor his protective energy and seek his guidance. Through these symbols and sacred animals, Anubis communicates his presence and purpose. They serve as powerful reminders of his lessons, urging us to honor transitions, embrace transformation, and live with integrity and courage. Whether through the haunting cry of a jackal or the quiet balance of scales, Anubis invites us to explore the mysteries of life and death with trust and determination. Working with Anubis can be a transformative and deeply personal experience. To connect with him, it is essential to approach with respect, clarity, and a willingness to confront the unknown. Anubis values sincerity and courage, making him an ideal guide for those navigating life's transitions or seeking protection during times of uncertainty. Items such as bread, incense, dark wine, or small figurines of jackals are common offerings. These items can be placed on an altar dedicated to Anubis, along with symbols such as the ankh, scales, or representations of the jackal. Acts of devotion such as lighting a candle or reciting prayers can also serve as offerings. For those unable to create physical offerings, acts of kindness, justice, or personal growth can serve as symbolic gestures of respect and alignment with his principles. Meditation and visualization are powerful tools for connecting with Anubis. Imagine him standing at the threshold of a dark passage, his jackal eyes glowing with wisdom and guidance. Visualize him leading you safely through the unknown, offering protection and clarity. Some practitioners choose to meditate near liminal spaces such as rivers or doorways to deepen their connection with his energy. These meditative practices can help you access his energy and gain insights into your own journey, particularly during times of personal transformation. Shadow work is particularly meaningful when working with Anubis. As a deity associated with death and the afterlife, he encourages you to explore your fears, confront unresolved emotions, and embrace transformation. Journaling your experiences during shadow work can help you uncover patterns and insights that align with his guidance. For those new to shadow work, focusing on small, manageable aspects of your inner self can create a foundation for deeper exploration, with Anubis serving as a guide through these complex emotions. Anubis often communicates through dreams, symbols, and synchronicity. Seeing jackals, scales, or other representations of him in your waking life or dreams may indicate his presence. These signs often appear during moments of transition or when guidance is most needed. Paying attention to these messages can help you deepen your connection with him. Practitioners have reported hearing jackal-like sounds in meditative states or encountering recurring imagery of the scales of Ma'at, further emphasizing his symbolic communication. One of the most profound ways to honor Anubis is by embracing change and transformation in your own life. Whether it involves letting go of the past, facing your fears, or stepping into a new phase of life, Anubis's energy can empower you to navigate these transitions with courage and integrity. Rituals to symbolize these changes, such as writing down fears or regrets and burning them in a controlled setting, can be a way to actively invite his transformative energy into your life. Working with Anubis also involves developing a strong sense of ethical conduct. He values honesty, integrity, and fairness, qualities central to his role in the weighing of the heart ceremony. Reflecting on how these principles apply to your daily life can deepen your bond with him. Acts of justice, such as standing up for someone in need or addressing personal imbalances, can be seen as modern interpretations of honoring his presence. Approach Anubis with reverence and an open heart. He is a guide and protector who challenges you to grow and evolve, but he also offers comfort and wisdom during difficult times. For those ready to work with him, Anubis provides profound insights and a sacred connection to the mysteries of life and death. Remember that his energy is not solely about endings, but about transitions, growth, and the promise of renewal. Those who invite him into their lives often describe feeling a deep sense of clarity, courage, and purpose. Anubis is more than a guardian of the dead. He is a guide through the transitions of life, a protector of truth, and a symbol of transformation. His myths and symbols remind us of the sacredness of change and the power of living with integrity. Have you worked with Anubis or felt his presence in your life? Share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into mythology, spirituality, and ancient wisdom. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.